Hi everybody, happy Tuesday, happy first day of the week for those of us that had a long weekend last weekend. I hope your day has gone well and that your week is off to a good start. I'm here at 5:30 today because my son had to have musical rehearsal and we just literally ran in the door and I ran downstairs and here I am. So hi Kath, how are ya? So we are working with the Painted Seasons bundle today. So this is a new second release sale-a-bration item. It is found in the new sale-a-bration second release brochure, and you will find it on the back page here. So this item is free with a $120 order. So this is a level 2 sale-a-bration item. So the bundle includes the stamp set, which is in that beautiful distinctive style, and a DSP pack that is absolutely gorgeous. How gorgeous, you might ask? Well, let me show you. This paper is simply stunning. Here are the 4 different hand-painted watercolor images, okay? So we have this beautiful floral. We have a Christmas, which has pine boughs and pine cones and berries. We have the succulents, and then we have the toadstools and leaves. So we've got spring, we've got winter, we've got summer, and we've got fall. All right. Now, the great thing about this paper pack, if you are not into these patterns, is that the other side, let me just flip it over, has fantastic geometric designs that are also in that soft watercolor look. So this paper pack really has something for everyone. Okay. If you're not into florals and the watercolor look, these geometric patterns are fantastic. So that is the DSP. Let me just bring in the stamp set for a moment. So here is the stamp set. It includes a couple, well, there's our flower, there's our succulent, there's a fern, a leaf, a little sprig. These could be little snowflakes. I just use them as little accents. And then this pine cone. And all of these, again, are in that distinctive, this is a Stampin' Up! Patented stamp design that allows for all that shading with just one stamp image. Okay, so there's no layering or two-step stamping involved. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, I should also mention that starting March 1st, there will be a fantastic new set of dies that coordinates with this stamp set. So this is part of a promotion that starts March 1st called Sale-a-bration Coordination. And in this die set, we have dies that coordinate and cut out all of the images, with the exception of this little guy, in the stamp set. So this little sprig here, you actually get 3 of those. So you can stamp 3, run them through once and get 3 die cut sprigs. There are 2 of this leaf image, okay? And there are 2 of the ferns, okay? The pine cone and the flowers each only have 1. Okay, but how awesome is that? So this will be available for purchase. So you can earn your Painted Seasons bundle this month and purchase the coordinating dies next month. How awesome is that? Pretty awesome if you ask me. All right, let's get to some stamping. You ready? We're going to start with this guy here. It does use some of that DSP. I opted for the geometric design on this one. I'm going to pull in my little basket of goodies here. And we're going to get to it. Now, I took the liberty of doing a bunch of stamping and die cutting ahead of time because I want you guys to actually get your dinner tonight. Otherwise, we'd be here for a while. But the stamping and die cutting is really quick. I'm going to show you the stamping on the inside of the card in a minute. So here is my DSP. Okay, so this is the back of that cute little toadstool pattern. That's a tough call, honestly. Those toadstools are adorable. But I did decide to use the geometric pattern. I'm just going to move that off to the side. And I have already gone ahead and stamped and die cut some ferns and leaves and a couple of pine cones. My color palette, let me just bring in my ink pads here so you can see the colors that I used. So for the stamping, this is my color palette. So I've got Early Espresso, Pumpkin Pie, and Mango Melody. Okay, and now because this is a distinctive stamp set, just see the shading and the different gradations of color. That's just one stamp image. Isn't that cool? Same thing with the pine cone. Like that's just stamped once in Early Espresso ink, and you get that awesome shading. So let's put this together. So the first thing we're going to do on the front of the card here, I've got some scrap, get this out of the way, is stamp the sentiment. So this thank you image is from the Humming Along stamp set, which is in the Occasions catalog. It's the one with the hibiscus and the hummingbird, but it's also got some beautiful fonts in the sentiments. So I'm going to go ahead and ink up the stamp in Early Espresso ink. and stamp it on just a bit of scrap. And then I'm going to take my tailored tag punch, and this time I'm not using it to punch a banner. Usually that's what you see me doing with it, but I do use it as an actual tag sometimes. And I'm going to center that and pop it out. And then I'm going to take and stamp one of these pretty ferns. So I'm going to take some of my Mango Melody, and I'm going to ink up my fern, and I'm just going to stamp towards the bottom of the tag just to add a little accent. I always like to add a little something on my sentiment tags. I just feel like it kind of brings the whole card together. All right, so now I have punched, this is another new product that's coming March 1st, a story label punch. So this is a new punch. You'll see me using it in a few minutes on another card as well. It's a beautiful shape, and this one may, they haven't told us for sure, carry over into the new annual catalog. But I found the tailor tag layers just beautifully on top of that. So we're gonna go ahead and stick that down. Just a bit of Tombow. My Tombow is cold. My hands are cold. I gouged my finger. Yeah, we're in good shape today. At least I didn't lock my keys in the car today. If you weren't with me last week, you won't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, last week was interesting. There we go. We'll stick that one down. Okay, then I'm going to build my little arrangement here. So first thing I'm going to do is actually glue my DSP onto the card base. So my DSP is cut to 4 by 5 1/4 inches, and my card base is cut to 4 1/4 by 11 and scored in the middle at 5 1/2. So I'm going to go ahead and fold that. Remembered my bone folder this week. And then we'll put a bit of adhesive on the back of my DSP panel. And I'll stick that down. Oh, it's too long. Look at that. This is what happens when I use pieces that I find in my kit. All right, bring in the paper trimmer and cut her down. It's cut to 5 1/2, not 5 1/4. There we go. All right, now we're the right length. Okay, let's stick that down. Good thing I realized that before I stuck it down, eh? Okay, so now I'm just going to take and arrange some of my foliage here. So I've got some leaves, and I've got a fern, and I've got a pine cone. Okay, and then I'm going to kind of do the same thing down towards the bottom. Okay, so they're just going to kind of get arranged here. My tag is going to go right over top, and I'm going to add a little burlap, but that's kind of the idea that I'm looking for. Okay, and you can decide how much you want to see of all of these little bits and pieces. So I'm just putting a bit of adhesive on the back of these, and we'll stick this one down here, and a little bit of Tombow on here. We'll tuck that guy in there, and then our pine cone right about there, and then we'll go ahead with our leaves for the bottom. Stick them on about there. And the nice thing about this is you can make your arrangement however you like. There's really no wrong way to arrange flowers or greenery or foliage. And we'll add a pine cone. I don't want to see quite as much of this pine cone. I'm going to put that one there. Okay, and then that's going to just pop right on top. But before I do, I'm going to add a little bit of burlap trim to the back. So I'm just going to take and run some fast fuse on the back of my label and just stick the burlap to that. Okay, except I cut my angle the wrong way, so we're going to fix that. And then I'm actually going to center that a bit better now that I've trimmed it. Okay, and then I'm going to take and distress the ends. I just kind of want to mess them up so it's not all perfect. I kind of want this to be a little bit rustic looking. Okay, then we're going to throw a few dimensionals on the back of that tag. And get rid of our backings. I have no nails on my thumb. I broke this weekend. And then we'll just pop that right on the front of our card. Now the last little touch on this one is some cute little trinket leaves. So these are actually in the annual catalog. So I've always mentioned that I like to remember that we have this beautiful annual catalog, and it's fun. It's got lots of fun products. Hi, Deneen. Hi, Debbie. Thanks for checking me out. How are you doing? How's the weather down there in Virginia? So I'm going to tuck a few of these little leaves in behind my tag. So all I'm doing is pressing them onto a glue dot. These glue dots are super strong, and they will hold these little trinkets no problemo. So we're going to tuck this in here, and I'll add one more maybe out here. Just like that. There we go. Done and done. Isn't that easy? Now, I'm going to show you what I did on the inside of my sample. I'm actually going to do some stamping so you can see how beautiful these images are to stamp. Okay, so I've cut an inside panel. So again, this is 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to ink up some of my stamps here. I'm going to start with the fern because it's here. And I'm going to just add a couple of ferns just sort of in that bottom corner. Getting ready for a storm. Oh wow, another storm, eh? We're supposed to get freezing rain tomorrow. We've had a steady stream of storms here too, Debbie. It's been just great. We've had more school closures in the past 3 weeks than we've had in the past 3 years, and I'm not even kidding a little. It's crazy. All right, so that was Early Espresso that I stamped my pine cone, and then I'm going to ink up my leaves with some pumpkin pie and stamp a couple of leaves, just like that. Aren't those beautiful stamped images? Oh, this stamp set is just so gorgeous. I can't get enough of it. All right, so that's my inside panel. I didn't worry about a sentiment. I often don't when I'm doing thank you cards. We'll just slap a bit of adhesive on there. And which one is my... There it is. We'll just pop that inside the card. And we're done. Quick and easy thank you card. All right. Hope you like that one. All right, let's get this out of the way, and we'll get these ink pads out of the way. And I gotta clean a couple stamps because I need some for my next project. So how many of you use the Simply Chamois? I hope you all do. It is the best thing since sliced bread. Just water cleans your stamps. You don't have to scrub. You just blot it, and it pulls the ink right off the stamps, and they're good to go. Oh, better clean the thank you too, because I'm going to need that as well. Let's do that. Okay, done and done. Moving on. Card number 2. Ready to learn how to do some masking? Some of you are probably familiar with it. This is my simple stamping, hashtag simple stamping project. I have been struggling with the simple stamping challenge for, well, since they issued the challenge back in November. I have a really hard time keeping my cards to just stamps, ink, and paper. And that's what the simple stamping challenge is all about. And so I have been really trying hard to be able to master this challenge. And with this card, I actually made something that I like. So I'm going to show you how I did it. Let me pull in my bin of goodies. And we'll get going. So my color palette for this one is Lemon Lime Twist, Berry Burst, Night of Navy, and Pool Party. Okay, I love those colors together. Really love those colors together. Thanks, Debbie. Isn't it? It's so awesome. And it's made awesome by masking. So I'm going to show you guys how to mask if you are not already familiar with that. And if you are, you can just have a little refresher. Okay? All right. Look at what is in this kit. A card base, a mat, and another layer. That's it. Super simple. And I'm going to start with my panel. So this is the panel that I'm going to use for the front of the card. And this is where I get to use this succulent image. This is my favorite image in the stamp set. And I'm going to start stamping in navy, okay? Now, when you're masking, you have to decide which image is going to be on top of your arrangement, okay? So this is the one that I stamped first. You notice how everything else is behind it, okay? So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to ink up my stamp in the navy, Night of Navy. Okay, now with the distinctive stamps, you probably already know this, but it bears repeating. You don't want to have super juicy ink pads. Okay, so if you have an ink pad that is new or freshly re-inked, what you want to do is take the back of a spoon or an expired credit card or gift, empty gift card, and massage that ink down into the pad more. Okay, so you don't have a whole lot of ink sitting on top. That will give you a better stamped image with the distinctive stamps. If that still doesn't work, use a sponge dauber to apply the ink to your stamp, okay? And you'll get a beautiful stamped image, okay? So I'm gonna stamp the one, and let's do one more over here. Like that, okay? So there are my 2 navy flowers. Now, in order to do masking, I have to create a mask. Now, I did that ahead of time. So all I did is I stamped the image on a Post-it note, and I fussy cut it out. Now, a tip about cutting your masks. I'm just gonna bring in my original again. And I I want to point out this is an imperfection, and I left it specifically so that I could address it in this video. So do you see how right here there's sort of a white gap between this image that was on top and this one that's behind? That's because when you stamp, the ink, the stamp can't actually make contact with the paper right along the edge of the mask. Okay, so, and you'll see here the same problem. All right, now there is a solution for that, and that is to cut your mask slightly smaller than the stamped image. Okay, so what I did is I actually cut this, and I'll lay it right on here so you can see. You see how there's still a bit of the navy peeking out from behind? Okay, that is by design. I did that on purpose. It wasn't my bad fussy cutting. It was so that I could eliminate that white little border there a little bit. So I'm going to clean the stamp, and I'm going to bring in some Pool Party ink, and we're going to stamp a couple of these images in Pool Party, and you will see if I do a better job of getting rid of that white line. Okay, so here I go with one. Okay, and I'm going to do another one over here. Okay, and you can already see, now see that one wasn't great, but you see here how this is going right up to the edge of that stamped image of the navy. That's going to be a much better looking layer. Okay, now before I take this mask off, I'm actually going to stamp some of the other images. Get this out of the way. I'm going to add some lemon lime twist leaves. So we'll ink this up, and we're going to just stamp that right there, and then we'll add one down here. Okay, and I've got my little, oh, where'd my little sprig go? It's in another kit. Come here. There it is. I'm going to stamp my little sprig in Berry Burst. Again, because I've already got my mask here, I may as well take advantage of it. Okay, now I can lift this mask. Come here. This is what happens when you use Post-it notes that are sticky all the way around. Now look at that. See how? No more white border. There, we can live with that. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to move my mask as soon as I figure out which way it goes, right here. And I'm going to add some more greenery here. And a little bit more down here. Okay. And we'll add a couple of little sprigs as well. We'll do one up here. And we'll do one down here. Okay, and then I'll move this mask again. Do you see how our card is starting to take shape? Our arrangement is just magically appearing. Hi Alfie, how are you? Hope you're having a good week. Short week that it is. Gotta love those short weeks. They're my favorite. And we'll add a couple more leaves here. And a couple of sprigs. Oh, I didn't leave myself much room for sprigs. We'll put some here. And then I'm going to move the mask one more time over to here. Make sure I get this on properly. There we go. And we'll add a few more leaves. And maybe a couple more sprigs. We'll just do some little guys peeking out here. There we go. And we'll take that mask off. And voila! There's my beautifully stamped card. How easy is that? Just ink, stamps, and paper. Yes, I did it. Okay, we're going to get this out of the way. And all we have left to stamp on here is our thank you. So I'm going to use the same thank you stamp that I did from the last card, because I love the font. And I'm just going to ink it up in some navy ink. And we're going to just stamp it right about there. And then it's just a matter of putting this baby together. So I should probably mention that my dimensions. So this is 4 by 5 1/4, okay, my front panel. And then my Night of Navy mat is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, okay? So it's 1/8 of an inch larger. And I'm gonna throw some fast fuse on there. Now, I can't tell you how much I had to resist the urge to put some pretty navy blue gingham ribbon and add some Wink of Stella and maybe some pearls to this card, but I was really, really trying hard to keep it simple and just do the simple stamping. So you should be proud of me. Okay, I should mention my card base is 4 1/4 by 11, same size as the last card. It's scored in the middle at 5 1/2. Okay, I folded it along the score line. And again, I'm going to add some adhesive and pop that onto my card base. Just like that. Done and done. Isn't that pretty? So simple. I didn't do anything on the inside of this one. I could certainly do more masking on the inside if I wanted to. Sometimes I like to leave my thank you cards blank because sometimes you have a lot to say when you write a thank you card. So I just thought I would leave lots of space. But there you go. Oh, I forgot this little guy. I almost forgot one of the stamped images. I'm looking at my original going, there's something missing. These little, they look like little snowflakes. I like using them just as little accents. So I'm just going to add a couple of these here and there on my card. Okay, simple, simple. That makes it just kind of, I don't know, finishes it off, I think. All right, you like that one? Easy peasy and very limited supplies. All right, okay, that's that one. Once again, I got to clean a couple stamps here so that I can use them on the next project. Get these all cleaned up. Don't you hate putting those marks on your brand new chamois? It's like using your Big Shot cutting plates the first time, right? You get those marks on there, it's like, oh, it was so nice for a little while. Okay, last card. This I think is my favorite. I love, love, love this card. So here I have used the Painted Seasons, but I've also used another new sale-a-bration item, and that is the Country Floral embossing folder. Now, this folder is a level 1, so you can get this free with the $60 order here in Canada. And this is a dynamic folder, so it's one of the extra thick ones. Okay, now I'm going to show you just quickly how we create our sandwich with the dynamic folders, because I've had more than a few people creating their sandwich the wrong way and ending up with problems with their Big Shot. So here I have just a plain Whisper White piece of cardstock. It's 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, and to emboss it, I'm going to place it in my folder, okay? And this is one, it doesn't really matter if it's perfectly straight. You just want to get it in there, okay? And then you're going to use your standard platform, just your regular Big Shot platform without the thin die adapter, okay? You're going to place your folder directly on top of the platform with the fold at the top. Okay, so the fold is at the top. You're going to put your cutting plate, just one cutting plate on top, and you're going to feed it into the Big Shot this way. Again, the fold is at the top. All right, and once you do, you will end up with this beautiful embossed cardstock. It is, oh, it's beyond stunning. I can't get over how beautiful this is. Now, I decided to make it even more beautiful because everything's better when it sparkles and shines, right? So I took a little bit of Shimmer White, or Frost White Shimmer paint. So this was in the holiday catalog and it's still available. So when I use this stuff, I like to use it with a sponge dauber. Why? Because the lid works as a perfect little palette for me to pick up my paint. So I'm just going to dab my dauber into the lid there. And I'm just going to hit the raised embossed surfaces here. I'm not pressing hard. I'm just kind of tickling that embossing, and you're going to see, I hope it shows up on the camera. I'm not sure how well it will because sometimes the camera doesn't catch the shine and the shimmer of things, but it just makes those embossed flowers just pop out. And I'm thinking, like, how beautiful would this be on a wedding card or a wedding invitation even? Spring wedding, summer wedding, so, so pretty. So I'm just lightly daubing on. Now you'll notice I'm going in a circular pattern, and I'm not going only, I'm going in both directions. That is so that I hit all sides of the embossed image, right? If I only go one way, I'm going to miss the edges of some of the images. So I'm going in both directions. Okay, I'm not daubing up and down. Okay, that's a different look, and it will not give you the look that you want on this. Okay, but there I go. I could go and hit some of these guys as well. But those really raised images now just shimmer and shine and are so pretty. There we go. I'll add a little bit here and there. Okay, really simple step to take this wow to holy cow. It's really pretty. All right, so I'm going to let that paint dry, and we are going to put together the rest of this card. I need my kit. Where did I put it? Here it is. All right, so again, I took the liberty of stamping and die cutting a bunch of images here. Okay, oh, I need another little bit of scrap. Wait. There we go. And so I'm going to go ahead and stamp and punch this sentiment. And the sentiment on this one is from the Part of My Story sale-a-bration set. So this particular card is all about sale-a-bration. So I'm going to stamp in Memento Black and ink up my stamp just on some scrap white. And then I'm going to take this new story label punch. This is the one that I used to layer on the first card, okay? But here I'm going to use it as my label. So I'm going to center my image and pop it out. And isn't that a pretty shape? Oh, I love that punch. I hope it sticks around. I really, really do. Okay, so now it's just a matter of adhering all of my die cut, stamped and die cut pieces. So here is that beautiful flower. It's stamped in Poppy Parade. My ferns are stamped in Mossy Meadow, and my little sprigs are stamped in Grapefruit Grove. Okay, so now it's just a matter of arranging these. So I find the easiest way to do that is to just put some fast fuse on the back of my label here, and then I'm going to go ahead and start adhering my pieces. So I want my flowers to be sort of foremost on the behind the label. So I'm going to go ahead and stick those down. Okay, then I can add a little bit more fast fuse on the back of my flowers. Come on. And I can add my ferns. So we'll put one up here. We'll put one down here. And honestly, like this, I think these look like poppies. I think these ferns look like poppy leaves. And these look like poppies peeking out. I love red poppies. They are my favorite. Red and pink poppies are my two favorites. So add some of these little sprigs on the back here, just sort of peeking out. There we go. Okay, super simple. Now, to put this on the card, I'm going to use dimensionals, but before I do that, I'm going to add some ribbon. So here I have, drop the roll, I've got it everywhere, some of the 1/2 inch Calypso Coral satin ribbon. Okay, so I just need, what, 4.5 or so inches. We'll trim that off. And I'm going to apply a glue dot to the back of each end and lay that across the front of my card. Now the nice thing about this shimmer paint is that it dries pretty fast. Like that, what I put on there is already dry. I don't have to worry about it getting everywhere, okay? And then I'm ready to go ahead, let's make sure that's straight, and pop this onto the front of my card with some dimensionals. So I want to make sure everything stays popped, so I'm going to use a few here. There we go. We'll get rid of these backings. There we go. And then that is going to go on. Now, you want to make sure that your sentiment is straight, right? It's easy to get this cockeyed because you got all these flowers around, but you just want to make sure that that sentiment is straight. Now, it's scripty, so it can be off a little bit. Okay, and then we're going to adhere it to our card base. So I had the same size card bases today, super easy. So 4 1/4 by 11, scored in the middle at 5 1/2. We'll fold that in half. And then we'll apply a bit of fast fuse to the back of this. And pop that onto the front of the card. Just like that. Isn't that pretty? Now the last little touch is our weekly bow lesson. Are you ready? All right, so here I have some of that same coral ribbon. Okay, this ties up pretty nicely. It's nice and big, so it's easy to tie, and it's a little bit starched, so it holds its shape quite nicely. So I'm holding my ribbon between my index and middle fingers. I'm going to pinch to create loops. Okay, so I'm holding the loops now between my thumb and index finger in both hands. I'm going to take my left loop. I'm going to cross it over the right one, bring it around and through that little hole, and voila. There is my bow. Play with my loops, get them the size I want. I always find after I size them, I like to pull the knot tight just to make sure that the bow holds its shape nicely. There we go. And then we'll trim our ends at an angle. And then that's going to go on with a couple of glue dots. Now this is a big a larger ribbon. So I'm going to use 2 glue dots here just to make sure it stays put. And it goes on just like that. How's that? You like that? I hope you like that. Super simple. I'll just quickly show you what I did on the inside of this one. I stamped another sentiment from the story, part of my story stamp set, also in the black memento, and then I added just a few more of the stamped images along the bottom corner, the same ones that I used on the front, just to kind of pull the inside together. Okay. All right, let's pull all 3 projects in here again. So we have 1, 2, and 3. Okay, all using that beautiful Painted Season stamp set and some of the coordinating DSP. So this is, again, new second release item for sale-a-bration, available now with a $120 order in Canada. Okay, now before I let you go, I am going to bring in a little reminder of my Happy Tales online class. So there is the information. So the Happy Tales online class is available right now until the 26th of February. Okay, the class is free with a $60 order. Okay, so there's no charge for the class. You're ordering your product and I send you the kits and the tutorial video for free. Okay, so your host code is here. You can order online at on my website. If you are local, you can email me your order and I can put it through for you and then deliver it once I have your kits ready. And again, I'll just quickly show you what projects are included in that. So we have 1, 2, 3 standard cards. Okay, so we have a birthday, we have a wedding, and we have a sympathy. We have 2 fun folds. This one is a double gatefold. Okay, and this one is a peekaboo. Okay, and then we have our 12 by 12 layout, which can be a scrapbook layout. It could also be framed and used as a home decor piece. Okay, so those are the 6 projects included in this online class. Again, it's free with a $60 order using this host code, and you have to order by next Tuesday. That's why I wanted to remind you, you have a week yet to order, and the orders will or the kits will ship out by the 8th of March. Okay. All right, everybody, that's it for tonight. I am off to a meeting. I'm dashing out the door again, and I hope you have a great week. Stay safe in that weather that sounds like it's heading your way, Debbie and Deneen, and I will see you again next week. Bye for now.